Hello there, this is Darren Kettling, Captain of Team Halogen Robotics, and I've decided to do another event recap for the Build Fight Fun event at Infinitycon, Gainesville. I've decided to do this like more of a pre-recorded type thing than the live stream because I don't really have a good time for live streaming for like, I just can't really do live streaming for a while, so I've decided to try just recording it in advance and just seeing how it goes. So I'm just gonna watch my fights I had at the event and just sort of go over them and about what worked, what didn't work, and just you know discuss my thoughts on how well I think the robot performed. Okay, so my first fight of the event was against a robot called Cheesy Destruction, and this robot here is, I believe, it's like based on an existing plastic ant weight, which has done really well at past events. I think this was its first time, the team's first time, like building a full combat version. And well, and the robot has been really well driven at those past events. It's been kind of a nuisance and won quite a lot. So I was a bit worried going into this fight because I'm not exactly the best at driving fluorine. And also for this event, I was trying out a new weapon motor, just because it was easier for me to ship that new weapon motor because it only took like a couple days to actually get to me instead of like 2 weeks like the old one. The thing is that the new weapon motor I was using had a slightly longer motor shaft, and because of that, I had to get slightly bigger tires in order to use the new motor shaft. Because the wheels had to be bigger so it wouldn't like tilt weirdly. So yeah, anyway, first fight, I decided to switch to a new blade. That was like all pre-colored because I was going against a robot that was also covered in like TPU armor, and I wanted to be able to cut through it. So I decided to use a new blade, all nice and sharp, and here we go.
In the blue corner, they are both 1-pound combat robots.
Okay, I'm just gonna skip past that.
3, 2, 1.
Just count for 1. 2, 1.
Okay, so
fight, robots.
let me actually zoom in here.
Fight.
So immediately I get up to speed, and he's already like across the arena getting to me. So, land a good shot there. I kind of oversteer a little bit. I try and drive away. What I'm trying to do is get around to his sides actually, and like just nip it, like try and like disable a drive side or something. That's my plan. So try and drive around, get a good shot there that flips me over, and he's completely fine because it's very durable. Kind of ruined it myself. Actually drove into a wall, but he gets stuck on my blade. So I kind of have to get off, spin back up. He slams me into the wall. Spin up again, hit the wall.
I think chlorine is upside down currently.
I've actually managed to kind of disable his flipper because it's disconnected from the pin. It still works, but it's less effective now. And I'm still trying to get the grip strung upside down.
With their ramp
there.
Destruction.
There's a bit of circling. Get hit into the wall again. My poor driving is very much on display at the moment. Trying to get away from there, spin up. Then a good shot there.
Ooh, fluorine damaging our floor.
Okay. Oop, at that point, I rip off his flipping arm, but he's still pushing me around like it's no big deal. Hit the wall again. Drive away. Oop, I get a nice shot there, sending him across the arena. And he now is starting to have drive issues, so I finally can like start taking advantage. So I come barreling in. I try and let out a taunt, hit him again, hit the wall again. I somehow hit the wall when I'm trying to drive towards him. I don't know how I did that. And he taps out, meaning I win. Yeah, I'll be honest, my driving was not really the best, but I think I did a good enough job to disable him. I didn't have to do really anything to repair from this fight. I just had to charge the battery and also replace the paint on the blade, which is nice. Okay, next fight was against a robot called Biscuit. Hold on. There we go. So again, strategy was basically this. I didn't really have much of a strategy for this one. My goal was to just kind of hit him and see what happens. I wasn't really afraid of his weapon because it's an undercutter, and the only thing an undercutter can hit on flooring are the wheels and the weapon assembly. But I'm pretty sure, actually, I'm almost certain I actually outreach him because my weapon is pretty long for the robots. And again, the plan was just kind of hit him and see what happens. So I'm just gonna skip the intro.
And 3, 2, 1. Fight, robots.
So I spin up. He spins up as well. Get a good hit on there. And immediately I knock off a wheel guard, which is pretty nice. Then I hit off the other wheel guard immediately, which is also nice.
Pieces of biscuits flying.
And I sit on a little taunt from me. And then I get, so again, no wheel guards, so I'm now going to try and hit the wheels again. Little taunt. He skitters across the arena. Oop, there's a good hit right there.
Another piece falling off of the biscuit.
I hit the wall because I'm amazing at driving this robot.
Biscuit's weapon still.
Oop.
That chunk.
I think his wheel actually just fell off by itself. So now he's down to one wheel.
The wheel immediately
I turn around. And I'm not sure whether to hit him or not at this point because I don't want to be, like be mean and cause too much damage because, that's kind of mean. So I'm not actually sure if he's dead right here, which is why I don't really hit him.
Can he get movement? That counts as movement. Chlorine slowly inching.
And then he like spins up and starts going insane. So I start getting towards him.
The biscuit moving, having a little bit of movement. Okay.
Again, I'm kind of being hesitant because I don't want to like accidentally run into the wall again because that's not how you win. That's bad.
It has their movement back.
Oop, I hit the wall accidentally.
Like crazy.
Land a good hit there. Land a good hit right there.
See their weapon charging. Or the weapon
hit another hit there. And he taps out because I think I cut his belt at that point. So I drive back to here and I'm done. I actually I don't think I took much, if any, damage. I'm actually trying to remember if I took any damage. No, I didn't actually. I didn't take any damage from this fight. So again, all I had to do was charge the battery and just color in the blade again, which led to my next fight against Gumbo. Now, this is a bit of an embarrassment, I'll admit, right off the bat. I was kind of worried going into this fight because this version of Gumbo is a really strong drum spinner weapon. And I really wanted to try avoid hitting that. My plan was originally, like before this fight started, I actually tried to reprogram my radio to spin the weapon the other direction because I was trying to like hit his pulley on the side and try and like knock the belt off. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite. I think what I should have done was just replug in some wires on the actual motors, because what I tried to do was like reprogram the actual remote, which didn't work. And in fact, I think I didn't actually reprogram it properly back to the original settings because at the very start of this fight, my weapon doesn't spin up immediately. It eventually does, but I think I forgot to reset it properly. I don't think it would have helped if it was working properly because you'll see. So again, my plan was to try and like hit the belts or like just get around to the side and try and hit like the sides.
And 3, 2, 1, fight.
So kind of like twitches a little bit. Then it spins up. I drive away.
A bit slower than normal.
And yeah, this is a bit of an embarrassment. So we hit weapon to weapon. He gets sent flying across the arena, and unfortunately, the stress was just too much for the motor I was using, and it just snapped the shaft completely, and my weapon went flying off. I don't actually have the motor with me, but because I gave it to the team after the event. Actually, no, after this fight, because the motor still worked, but the problem is that there was no shaft anymore, so I couldn't really attach anything to it. I mean, I could have used it for like a ring spinner or something, but I just don't have the I mean, basically the motor still worked, but it was basically functionally useless because I couldn't like attach anything to it. And with this beautiful hit, by the way, I'd like to say I sent him flying across the arena. My weapon goes flying off, which sucks. I go flying through the air like I don't know. So I go flying. He lands up upside down, which sucks because if I had my weapon still, I probably would have taken immediate advantage and tried to like cut into his side. Yeah, it is rare, Brooks. So yeah, my weapon's lying over here. And I have no weapon anymore, and he's still basically fine. What sucks is I think actually some of his wheels were damaged, but I couldn't take advantage of that because my weapon is gone. And the thing with fluorine is that basically I basically with the way the robot is designed, is that it doesn't really have much. Fluorine doesn't really have a plan B if it loses its weapon. If it loses its weapon, I basically am completely useless because the weapon is like everything on fluorine. It is the main damage dealer. Without it, like I basically have no chance of winning. Like even if my weapon like the thing is that what makes it worse is that the weapon was actually it fell off, as you can clearly tell. But if even if like the motor stopped working, which I wish it did, I would still have like a chunk of metal to shove into my opponent's face to try and like break him with hitting that because you're about to see actually. I tried to keep fighting for a little bit longer because I was like fingers crossed hoping his drive would just completely die on him and I'd be able to win that way or something. But as you can see, I just get sent flying, but I still work. So I decided to tap out because I see the writing on the wall. There's no chance of me winning. But I will say the robot was basically fully functional after the fight, though. Like, the damage looks bad, but all I had to do was just take off the motor I had here and put on the replacement that I had in my toolbox, and it took me like literally like 5 minutes. It was basically a nothing of a problem. It was like within 5 minutes I was pretty much ready to fight again because I had spares, which is good. Yeah, again, not a good. It was a bad, kind of a sucky way to lose because I think I was I think I stood a good chance of winning had I gotten to his side, which I mean, yeah, but still, again, bears weren't too bad despite how it looks. It looks a lot worse than it actually was. So, day 2, and my first fight is against Cheesy Destruction. Unfortunately, again. Yeah, brother. Yeah, so I was honestly, I had to wait, first of all, like several hours after the event started for the second day to actually fight. So I kind of spent a lot of just time to just sit around and do kind of nothing. Um, so I had a long time to kind of watch and see who I was going to be facing. And I was really hoping not to face Cheesy Destruction again because I think Seth is the kid's name who drives it. He is really good at driving this robot, and that's a problem because it is like I think I got kind of lucky the first time because I managed to like kill half his drive because I got pinned or something, and I was not looking. And before that point, I was kind of like arguably losing the fight. Um, so yeah, I did not want to face this guy again because he is a really good driver. So this did not look like it was going to be fun for me. Honestly, all I could do was like I was basically gonna try and take it a lot more slow this fight and be a lot more slower and calculated and try and hit his side or whatever. So let's see how that went.
And 3,
2,
2,
wait.
1, fight!
Fight starts. He does the box rush again. I get a good hit on the side.
Immediately rushing towards Marine.
Okay.
Now trying to go around. Ooh, Marine
Trying to get some good shit from the side.
Sending both flying back.
Again, I'm trying to hit his side. That's my goal.
Again, happening the same thing.
Good hit there. But he's still completely fine while I'm struggling to get out of the corner. He takes advantage and he pins me. Well, nearly pins me. I get away.
Come on.
For some reason, I take far too long to get out of the dang corner, but because I'm focused on trying to spin the weapon up and then try and aim and get out.
Fluorine trying to spin around, get some hits on. Cheese instructions went into the ball for a second there. Ooh, Fluorine on his side for a split
Trying to
second.
get a good hit.
Keep hitting
getting
him.
sent back.
It's like they do a
Both
dance.
teams to
Trying to do the spin
try
move,
and
which
get
doesn't
ahead
work.
on each other.
I can't give you tips, Darren, but just do your best.
I get flipped over again.
Flipping Fluorine. Fluorine now in a...
Come on, Darren, you got this.
I hit the fucking wall again, which, like, really, honestly, I don't know why I keep doing it. I think it's mostly because I'm, again, not really the best at driving, and I'm kind of a bit, I think I was kind of panicking at this point a little, because, like, come on, stop hitting, like, drive normally, doofus. So I try to get out, but then he pins me.
Pinning Fluorine. 10, 9, 8,
I'm like, come on,
7,
unpin me.
I can't. I'm waiting for him to back
4,
off, so I can't
3,
move.
2, 1, release. The instruction releases Fluorine.
All right,
Fluorine
rip him up.
the instruction a bit. The instruction
Admittedly, that's a pretty good ram by him.
instruction a bit.
Like, this is good. I kind of like how Florian just bounces on its weapon. And amazingly, Florian nearly loses because it gets stuck on its butt. But actually, I fixed that problem because the robot is weighted in such a way that it just kind of falls on, like, its front if it gets stuck in this position. Hit the wall.
Fluorine now right side up. The instruction still trying to go.
Still desperate. I'm still desperately trying to, like, get some hits in.
The weapon.
AR-500.
The instruction going around. Fluorine spinning, trying
Come on,
to
rip him up, rip him up.
I'm trying.
I know, I'm just saying it.
That's just giving some really. My sister's giving me some amazing advice. I mean, I appreciate it. She's great.
Seconds left.
Try and, like,
Seconds left. Fluorine trying to clean up the mess.
All right.
Still trying to get hits in.
Managing to do so a couple of times right there. 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Again, the robot's very slidey because you notice I'm, like, constantly oversteering, which kind of is annoying.
Fluorine using the spinning tactics to try and hit. T instruction while T instruction is trying to rush and
Getting hit
ramp
in the wall there.
We're now getting to the 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
And again, he ends up like I got a dang pin on me.
1, and that's the match.
Okay, it's over. All right.
Yeah. Amazingly, somehow I was actually given the win by judge's decision, which I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure how I got because I thought I had lost that fight, like, handedly. And I think actually, like, I think a bunch of people also thought I lost, but I was like, but they said I won, so I somehow managed to escape from Cheese's destruction again. Honestly, I think this just proves I really need to get better at driving the robot or something, because that was not really my best performance, I'll be honest. And unfortunately, it currently is the most viewed fight from that event. Right, next fight was against Erratic. And Erratic, actually, I've technically fought, like, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Like, so at my last event in Tallahassee, I faced a robot called Mr. Breeze twice, and the person who built Mr. Breeze was the person who also built Erratic. And I honestly think they're the same robot, except Erratic is red. So yeah, basically this is kind of a pseudo rematch, and I honestly was not really feeling too nervous before this fight. I mean, I was a little bit nervous, but I think that was mostly down to the fact that scalers are a bit of a scary robot to face because they have a lot of damage potential and they're kind of everywhere. So I wasn't really looking, but I have never lost to a scalar kit yet. I kind of have a strategy for beating them, which is I have a longer reaching weapon, and my goal is to kind of get around to their side and try and snipe their wheels, because despite the fact they have wheel guards, you can still... I've done the magic trick where I'm able to, like, rip off a scalar kit's wheel without breaking the wheel guard. I did it once with Tyrone, like, months ago. I can't remember the event. I think it was like in Tampa. The point is I ripped off his wheel and sent him into the pits, despite the fact that I didn't damage his wheel guards at all. So again, I wasn't really nervous before. I was a little nervous before this fight, but as long as I wasn't an idiot and showed my butt to him, I wasn't really too nervous. I didn't think I'd lose. Okay.
Audience, are you? And 3,
Okay, here we go.
2, 1, fight.
So again, spin up.
Alright.
And my goals, my kind of strategy right now is keep my weapon towards his weapon because I'll outreach him, and also maybe just to keep him away from me. Get a good hit there.
Weapon flashing.
I kind of stay still to not like fly around.
His name says erratically flying
I notice, and then I come for the hit after he's done bouncing.
around the room.
At this point, I think one of his motors or something gets pinned, and he loses drive on one side. So I'm like, yes, this is good because I can then try and get his other side and try and either damage the motor or rip the wheel off. I miss completely and hit the wall again because I am a great driver. Let's look at that amazing failure again.
Erratically flying around the room.
Like, look, I'm heading like straight for him. I dink him on the side a little, and then I proceed to like get sent into the wall. Actually, so it's not entirely my fault, but still. And then doink. Great job. So he actually managed to get a bit of my wheel, as you can see. Why the hell am I pointing? As you can see right there, it's a little bit of damage to the wheel, so I'm kind of trying to avoid that again. So I be careful. Get a good hit there, send flying. So now I come in and boom! Let's take a look there. I managed to rip off his wheel, and his wheel guard is completely fine, you'll notice. And that was the wheel that was still running. So I basically won at this point.
Ooh, nice there.
So I was like, I say actually. Hold on.
Getting sent back more.
So I say actually.
Oh, nice there, nice.
I took off the working one, so I don't need to hit him anymore because he can't move. So I realized he's probably going to tap out, and he does.
Erratic swing. Tap out by your right.
And so I go to the wall, and I won. Again, I think I might start calling myself like the Scalar Slayer or something, even though that really doesn't alliterate, but honestly, I'm kind of proud of that. I've kind of decided to start calling myself the Scalar Slayer because I can see I just keep doing this. Like, I haven't lost to a scalar yet. I fully expect that now that I've actually said that, I'm going to lose to the next scalar I face at my next event, so rip me. Anyway, that means I get sent into the loser's final, which means I have a guaranteed third place finish. And who else should I be facing but Gumbo again? Just brilliant, amazing. Oh god, yeah, I was not looking forward to this one, which really sucks because, like, again, Gumbo is, as you saw, ripped my weapon off before by snapping the motor shaft. And so my plan this time was I was going to actually try and drive like a human and try and like avoid the front and try and get around to the side and hit his wheels. So I'm going to skip to the part where the fight starts.
Fight!
Let's see how that goes for me.
Alright.
So, I get a nice hit there. Amazing hit on the side.
Both robots taking a hit from that one.
Spin up again. I do them spin move.
Okay, spinning.
And so I now back away to try and like reposition. He's approaching me.
By just spinning.
And unfortunately, my plan at this point, I think what I was trying to do was like get around to his side by like going this way for some reason. What I should have done was I should have turned around to face the other direction and gone like, instead of like going this way, I should have turned around and gone the other direction towards like the kid in like the yellow jacket, like, and try to like do that. Instead, like a complete moron, I decided to go this way, which means my weapon goes into his weapon, and the exact same thing happens again. And there goes my weapon flying. And again, like, look, I sent him flying as well, so I know for a fact that if I can fix this little problem of the weapon flying off, then I will be set. I will be able to actually defeat Gumbo. The problem is just, for some reason, the motor shaft I think is too weak. And the problem is I don't exactly know how to fix that issue. Because, like, how do you fix that? Like, I think it's because of the only conceivable way I can see to fix this issue is maybe to go back to my current plan is to just go back to the old silver motors I used to use because those have never failed me, and I've taken one of those motors has taken a lot of hits at a lot of different events, including vertical ones, I think, and they've never really failed me. And I also managed to find a place that sells those exact motors a lot closer instead of all the way in China. They are only in like California, so they only take like 5 days to ship instead of like 2 weeks. So that's fine with me. So I gotten 2 of those motors, and I'm going to use those at my next event and hope that kind of solves the issue. Because the only other way I can see to fix this little problem is to switch to like a hub motor design, like a proper actual hub, like weapon has like all the magnets in it, and like there's the hub up here, and they go together, and it's like all properly built, and not like just the way I do it now, which is I have the motor bell and I just screw on a weapon onto the top of it, which it does work, but it doesn't really work that. It could be better, and the problem is I don't know how to make a hub motor, and I just do not have the time to go try and like do the research for it at this point in time. So I'm kind of stuck, I'll admit. So I don't really know how to avoid, well, this happening. Because the thing, again, I send him flying, and if I saw a weapon, I'd be all over him, and I'd be probably winning. So yeah, you could probably guess how the rest goes.
Some pieces fell off, can't tell who. It seems Florine's weapon might be gone. Tap out by Florine, meaning the winner is...
Yeah, so yeah, get bopped around again, I tap out again. So yeah, unfortunately, that means I'm out of the competition. But I did get 3rd place, so at least UF did get a podium finish. However, that was not the end for me because I somehow managed to. Okay, so a bit of backstory. Adam, who was the guy who won the 3-pound division at this event, had brought along Hellfire. Even though Hellfire has been officially retired, he brought it along to try and get some grudge matches in. And I said I will be happily willing to fight you if you're up for it at the end of the event, and if I can get the robot back together. So after that fight with Gumbo, thankfully I had brought like 2 old silver motors which had kind of broken a little, and I managed to actually, with the help of Adam, I think, properly fix one by just opening up the bell and cleaning it out. And because before that was kind of running rough when I like turned it in my hands, and after that we opened it up, then put it back together, it ran fine. So I actually got that motor ready to be installed back into the robot, and put my big, huge weapon disc on. I also did have to switch wheels to a slightly smaller variant, which thankfully I also did have in my toolbox, because again, the shaft on the silver motors is a little shorter than the shaft on the black ones, which I were using up to this point. So I had a weapon ready to go, and I put on the new wheels, well, technically the old wheels, and I put on the weapon, and the robot was pretty much ready to go about 20 to 30 minutes after that fight. And so I asked Adam if he was up for grudging with me with Hellfire, and he said he was kind of mixed on it, and he said that if like he had to first do the 3-pound finals because he was doing amazingly that day, and he ended up winning the event. And he said that if he had time after that final fight, because like they had like the 1st and 2nd place fight, and then they had the 3rd place playoff fight for some reason. I don't know why they did it like that, but they did. And so if they had time between the 1st and 2nd place fight and the 3rd and 4th place fight, if there was time between those two, then we would grudge. And amazingly, there was time after he destroyed his opponent in the first fight and got 1st place. The 3rd and 4th place teams needed some time to fix their robots because bit of crunch time. It was also like nearing the end of the event. We had to like keep going because like they'd kick us out. So we had a little bit of time, just enough time to do a grudge match. And Adam got Hellfire, and it was working, and I decided to put on my huge, big weapon disc, which I actually have right here. And this weapon disc I've never actually used in combat before, so I was really looking forward to seeing how it performed. And, well, hold on. Right, let's get to the start here. And I was really looking forward to seeing how it performed. And as you're about to see, it performed pretty well.
Yeah.
So here's the Grudge Rat. There's Hellfire. There's I am with the big disc with the old motor, which is nice and smooth. I'm honestly at this point, I'm really happy so I'm feeling happy at this point, and I'm ready for just to have a good fun fight, because this is a grudge match, and it's basically grudge matches are like a screw trying to conserve your robot or anything, because there's no more fights after this, so you might as well go hell for leather and just go full send it and just go nuts and just kind of throw your robot to the wolves and just kind of let it be completely torn apart, because you're going to probably be rebuilding your robot after this event anyway, which I'm planning on doing, which is actually, honestly, I don't really need to do much to fix Florian. I just need to replace the weapon motor, as you're about to see. So again, I'm basically thinking, let's have some fun. I'm gonna throw myself into him and kind of peck him to death, and who knows, maybe I'll actually win, because if I remember correctly, Hellfire at this event was basically it was spares. It was just, I don't think it was even fixed from its last event. So this is gonna be really good, I think, and I think it was gonna be fun. This is gonna be loads of fun. So here we go. I spin up, he spins up as well.
Oh my.
I'm kind of trying to be careful, because I've also never really driven the robot with this giant weapon on before while it's spinning. So I'm kind of testing it out, and it honestly drove shockingly well for how big the weapon is. So basically I'm going to come on in. I peck him a little.
Moving incredibly slow, it seems.
I'm being careful.
Because I am being careful, because I don't want to lose immediately. I get tossed around a little. He hits me in the wheel, but I'm still working.
Wheel still works.
Because I'm worried about the wheel walking up, which kind of make the fight kind of sucky. Spin up, and again I'm trying to very gently engage with Hellfire to try and, I'm not even sure what I was trying to do. I think I was trying to be gentle and try and break something. And the reason he isn't really hitting me that hard is because he's using his angled tooth blade, which it's not really designed to do damage. It's designed to flip and disorientate. So again, I'm just being gentle peck there.
This is a battle
Gentle peck
of
there.
inches, it appears.
And I'm being very cautious. I'm trying my best not to mess this up.
Are they
Kind of slow so
spinning
far.
the same way?
Just spin around there. Oop, get a good
No
hit there.
major damage, as Hellfire cannot do anything.
Okay, so a lot of things happen at this point. So first of all, he sends me into the wall. Then I send myself out of the wall back into him. And I think, oh, look at that. I actually managed to get a nice good shot on his lid because I'm angled. I think he also hits me there, because I think that's what actually sends me up, is that my weapon hits him and I get sent flying. So I go, wee, flying into the air. I love the reaction for everyone's just oh my god, that was awesome. Again, I love this. So I get sent flying. I end up upside down.
Florian getting sent flying.
Damn.
So basically, I accidentally kind of get myself into a bit of a gyroscopic spin. And at this point, I'm screw it, and just decide to crank the weapon throttle up to 100%, which I've never actually done before, in combat or in testing. I've never actually seen what happens when the robot goes 100%. And again, I'm figuring final fight, sorry. So let's see what happens. I kind of go dance.
Let's go, come on.
And so I'm basically cranking it at full speed with a motor. By the way, this motor has been already used at my last event, so it's been through 7, I think. Yeah, it has been through 7 fights in a row, and this is actually now its 8th fight, so it's a little bit damaged. So I don't blame it for what happens next. So I'm kind of bouncing, still kind of out of control. I hit the floor, I hit it again, and off comes the weapon. Here it is, by the way. I don't know how well you're going to see it on your screen because I'm kind of in the corner. I'm scared of trying to make it bigger, so I'll put it up to here. And you'll notice that the actual bell came off, which isn't like how the weapon failed in the other two fights. In those two fights, the actual shaft, which you can't really see because it's covered up by the nut and the washer, that part like snapped. But in this case, the actual bell came off, as you can see. I hope you can see. And yeah, so my weapon, still spinning at full speed, comes flying off, and it's fine so far. Then it doinks against the floor. I'm slowing this down because I'm going to show this again at full speed so you know just how fast this is. It doinks against the wall up there and flies all the way across the arena right at this poor woman who's filming. Oop, jeez. Who's filming the thing, and it goes doink right where her head is. Actually, maybe off to the left. I can't tell because the angle's weird. Actually, yeah, I would have missed her. Point is, it hits her like right near her head. She like ducks. Then the weapon comes flying down, doinks against the floor, doinks against that wall, and is now finally starting to slow down and hits the floor. And then kind of, I'm not sure what it does. It just hits the floor and eventually just stops moving entirely. Meanwhile, which I can't believe I haven't noticed up until now, Hellfire is heading towards me because because this. Let me show you how fast this happens. Just goes flying in the space of like a second. It just does all that. It's amazing. And hooray for Lexan. So again, I'm sitting here. I'm about to get hit in the butt. I'm kind of flabbergasted because what the heck just happened? And I'm like, what the heck should I be doing? So I kind of like
Tap out!
my sister yells at me to tap out. I'm like, no, I am not tapping out. I am going to I'm going to throw what's left of Fluorine at Hellfire because even though Fluorine technically doesn't really have a weapon at this point, I mean, literally doesn't have a weapon. Technically, Fluorine is now in itself a weapon. So I'm just going to keep tossing Fluorine at Hellfire, and I'm basically hoping either something breaks, or honestly, I was just kind of hoping either something broke in Hellfire and I would win, or actually that was literally it. Just hoping Hellfire broke, because again, and also I kind of also knew that Hellfire wouldn't really damage me because he has the anti-horizontal T-Fon, which are like slopes, and so I wouldn't really take much damage. And actually, that's true. Because as you can see here, he only took very tiny nicks out of the aluminum that holds the motor on. And also, he did damage like the magnets, or not the magnets, the coils on the now exposed motor, which this motor's toast anyway, so honestly, like, he didn't really, he also chipped this carbon fiber a very tiny amount. The wheels still look honestly pretty good. And that was it. Like, you're about to see some funny hits, like some big hits here, because there's over half the match left. But just know that I'm not really taking any damage at this point. I'm basically just throwing myself at Hellfire for the heck of it, just like entertain the crowd, because hey, this is a grudge match. You came here to see violence. I'm gonna send my robot flying into Hellfire to give you some entertainment.
Send, come on,
So I'm like, full send, come on, let's go.
let's go.
40 to tap out, but not tapping out.
Again, I'm trying to aim the robot at Hellfire, but the problem is that I am upside down. So I have to I have to reverse, because the controls are flipped, into Hellfire, which is a little difficult because, like, also Fluorine, without the weapon, is actually surprisingly nimble. Like, it is really hard to drive without the weapon. Like, it's also pretty hard to drive with the weapon, so it's somehow even harder to drive without the weapon because it's very twitchy, as you can see by this.
I'm about to tap out for you.
So I just start setting myself flying into Hellfire. Adamant on Hellfire just decides to start attacking my.
I'm gonna replace it anyway.
I'm having
1
fun.
minute remaining of, I guess, bullying.
Yeah, Hellfire just decides to start going after my dead weapon, which, like, come on, man. I mean, admittedly, he also did almost no damage to the weapon because, like, there's a couple of nicks, very tiny nicks around the circumference. So again, this weapon is going to be reused probably. Actually, no, definitely going to be reused because it's still fine. I think it only landed like one hit, actually, which kind of sucks, but hey, at least it worked.
Darren.
I just start flying.
Please.
Again, I'm having too much fun. My sister's like, please stop, but I'm like, no.
Hellfire, instead of going after Florian, going after his weapon.
Oh, come on, don't break me.
Hellfire just having a grudge against Florian's weapon, I guess. Only after that, Florian instead damaging himself by charging after Hellfire.
I get stuck on, but now I self-righted, so I'm gonna try and like hammer him with the weapon or something. I don't know what I'm doing.
Hellfire finally going after Florian. Going after the weapon again.
And actually, right here, this is what I was hoping for to happen, because you'll notice my plan was of hitting him until he gets damaged actually almost works. Because like, because the recoil from him, me hitting him, hits him into the ball and he gets flipped over. And I actually really tried to take advantage of this by trying to like get under him and push him around.
Hellfire now upside down.
He gets sent, he starts vibrating out of control a little bit because it's upside down now.
Oh. Well, that was interesting.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's that.
I do a little spin because why not? And that was the event. Yeah, that was the event. Honestly, I think pretty much everyone there said that final fight was probably the highlight, one of the highlights at least, of the entire thing, which I am exceptionally proud of. I think everyone also on the team, or at least most people on the actual team, Gator Robotics, also said it was a really good fight. And again, I'm proud of that. Like this single hit right about here is just probably one of the highlights of my career. Just that space of like 5 seconds is just the thing is, this woman was recording the fight. I so desperately wanted to find out like if she posted it anywhere, because that is just, I want to see the footage from that angle. I so badly want to see it. It's just like, yeah, it was just, I love this fight so much. I wish I could switch to like a camera, but I don't really know how to do that. So again, post event, Florian is pretty much fine. Like all I have to do is just replace this dead motor, and like the robot will be back in action, ready to go. And I also have to charge the battery, and the robot will be fixed and ready for fighting again for Robot Ruckus. I think it's in Orlando OMF. I don't know what the actual, I think it's like just OMF something. Anyway, yeah, robot's basically fine. I just have to replace the googly eyes, replace the motor, and I'm done. That is literally all the damage I really took. Like even when Gumbo hit me, it tore out a couple tiny chunks of the TPU, but nothing really substantial. It's just like a couple tiny shavings. I don't know if you can really see that, but like this is like all these like 4 out taken sections or whatever. That's like all the damage I really took from Gumbo, and that's pretty much the most, aside from the motor snapping in half twice, and also, well, this was probably the most significant damage to the robot, and I didn't really notice it. So like, the main thing I do have to fix for next event is find a way to counter Gumbo in a way that doesn't make the weapon just fall off. I honestly am again, like I said, I'm still not really sure how to fix that, because I don't really have the time to do a proper hub motor design. I just don't, because I don't really know how, and I think there are tutorials online I'm probably going to look into, but yeah, I'm not looking. It's a bit. I know I'm going to have to fix this problem in order to actually become competitive again, because there are a lot of vertical spinners. Actually, there aren't a lot of vertical spinners, but those that do exist, like Gumbo, are pretty vicious. So I do need to figure out a way to defeat them. Right now, my plan is to probably just switch back to the what worked previously, which is the silver motors, which have a shorter shaft, so I have to switch back to the slightly smaller wheels, which isn't really an issue. But for now, that's really my only idea of a plan, and I hope it works. Also, the weapon itself also didn't really take much damage at the event either. Like, even though it flew off twice, the bar I used for the 6 fights I was in, it's just this tiny little chip in the tooth right out the side, which, I mean, that's kind of annoying, but that's manageable. That's fixable, easily fixable. Well, not maybe not fixable, but it's easy to kind of. And all I have to do is just switch the weapon around, and suddenly I have a sharp tooth again, because that's the benefit of having this kind of design. So, yeah, overall for the event, it's wasn't my most successful. I think had I managed to get past Gumbo, I probably would have won the entire thing, because the person who ended up winning was a scalar kit by the name of Clowns. Good robot, but I'm very certain I would have been able to, at the very least, take him to a judge decision. At the least, I tell you, I honestly am very confident in the fact I probably would have defeated them, because again, I'm pretty good against scalars, and it was a scalar, so there's a good chance I would have won. It's just I could not get past Gumbo, which kind of sucks. Again, honestly, I'll have to put some thought into how the heck I'm going to defeat that robot. Like I said, hub motor maybe. I don't know. So that was the Build Fight Fun event for Infinitycon Gainesville in 2024. Third place finish, and I'm hoping I'm gonna do next big event is Robot Ruckus in Orlando, and I'm genuinely hoping I do a lot better at that one. I think I stand a good chance of getting far, despite the sheer number of robots. I'm going to get a lot of spares, like I had at this event, which did help. And I'm going to, fingers crossed, I get far and have some fun. But for now, that was that was the event recap for this event. I'm signing off. This is Darren Catalane of Team Halogen Robotics, signing off now. And I'll see you Halogen homies later.